All right, guys, back from my Saturday ride. Just wanted to do a quick video. Got the bike all cleaned up, got everything lubricated. She's ready to go for the next ride. But I just wanted to take a quick second to show you guys and explain what I did. More explain what I did than show you, because it's a little hard to see with the tanks back on here. But I have had nonstop issues with the venting of these tanks and the flow rate of these tanks. I've seen it in numerous situations, both personally and heard about it secondhand from other people who were also racing the Kove, that if you run this bike hard consistently, sometimes the rear tank does not keep up with refilling the front tanks, and that's why your fuel gauge will show low when actually you still have a bunch of fuel left in there, and it takes a while for the rear tank to fill up the front right tank and then fill up the front left tank, because that's the flow of the pattern of flow of the fuel. Well, so basically I was having issues with it refilling the front left tank in time so that the bike had enough fuel to continue riding. And when I was out in California last time, I brought this issue up to Mason Klein, and he gave me the idea to take a T-valve or a T fitting and put this in line between the left and right tank, and then on here put the line from the rear tank onto this fitting, so that essentially this right tank and the rear tank are both refilling that left tank at the same time. Well, I thought the spacing would be tough, it'd be difficult, and I hadn't done it, but I'm sick of running out of gas when I still have 8 gallons of fuel, and it's pretty annoying. I think I've fixed the venting issue, so I'm not having any fuel push through the rear tanks up through my front gas caps like I was before. Today it was up around 100 degrees, bike was running really hot, the fans were cranking, and I had no fuel pushing issues or fuel pressurization issues. So I went ahead in last night, I got rid of that rear pepcock that would isolate the rear tank, because I initially had the idea of running the pepcock and the rear tank is almost a reserve tank. Well, that's a great idea until you're out of fuel in your front tanks and you think, oh, I'm going to turn on reserve and I'll just be able to continue to ride. Well, at that point, it takes 15, 20, 30 minutes for the fuel to go from the rear tank all the way up to that left tank. You can wait about 10 minutes and then you'll get about 5 to 10 more miles of fuel before it'll run dry again. And that just got super annoying anytime I was out running it hard, pre-running, running road books where you're out doing hundreds of kilometers at one time, and this bike would run out of gas. In the Baja 1000 last year, I know that a team who also isolated their rear tank had the same issue where their bike ran out of gas, and they didn't understand what was going on, and they initially thought it was consumption was way up, but in reality it was just because the rear tank was not able to feed the front. So what I did was put one of these T valves in there, or T fittings, and yeah, so that left me with the secondary spigot off of this right tank, because as you know, the fitting on this right tank looks like this. So my middle finger being the fitting for the rear tank, and my index finger being the fitting for the fuel line to go to the right tank. Well, I was gonna have to cap this one off, and so I thought to myself, what am I gonna do? You know, how am I gonna cap this off? So I got to thinking, I'm like, man, let's make it practical. So yeah, let me show you here. I don't know how well I can show you, but on the back side of the tank, there are a couple little screw holes. So what I did was I took that pepcock that I had here to isolate the rear tank, and I mounted it on the back side of the tank right here. Clearance is perfect. And then I hooked a hose to that secondary fitting on this right tank and ran it up to, man, I love multi-purposing or reusing things, but I used I'm gonna come up with something, high density, I don't even know, I can't even come up with an acronym that would fit, but so, boom. Boom. And I rode today. No fuel leaks. The fuel was refilling the front left tank and not running me dry. And then I have this secondary fitting with a pepcock on it to a hose. And this is just on there to keep the dust and whatnot out of there. So I'm just going to pull that sucker out of there. And yeah, I have fuel on tap in case buddy runs out of gas, need to transfer some fuel, don't need to carry extra supplies, it's just right there. And we'll just show ya how the magic happens. You say, oh, but it's too short. Well, no, man, you just run this bike up onto a hill next to a bike, you tip a bike over next to you, whatever the case may be, and boom. Let's not make a big old mess, because last night I made such a mess getting all these fuel lines hooked up. So let's see, let's try to shoot it right into there. So I got this nice little pepcock right here. Watch this guy. Boom, on. Boom. Fuel. Oh, we got it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and then let's go ahead and turn that guy back off. And what happens to the fuel? On demand. Boom. Pretty cool. So not only did I fix my fueling issue, but I also came up with some fuel on tap on demand. Yeah, I'd be the trail hero from now on when anybody else runs out of gas. So yeah, I'll just wrap back up like I had it and ready for the next ride. So I don't think the fittings, I might be able to show you a little bit. That T fitting right here. Oh yeah, you can see it. So it's basically right there. Ran it all day today, hot as can be. No fuel leaks, no fuel boiling, Arizona heat. Love this bike. Love how you can just modify it and make it your own. Sick, isn't it? What do you guys think? You guys think that that's stupid? You guys think that it's a good idea? Leave a comment below. Thanks, guys.